In this video I have a Yamaha 5-disc player, one of these carousel type ones, CDC-675. Supposedly doesn't work. Had the plug cut off the cord, and when I was carrying it one-handed I noticed some noises inside, so it's got at least a CD in there. So the problem with these ones, if you tip them up with CDs inside, they slide out of the carousel. And I remember on several occasions when I've repaired like stereo systems with a 5-disc player in the bottom, I've actually found some dust-covered CD that the customer had long lost and wondered where the hell it went. Not sure what they did to actually drop it out, but someone probably moved the unit around or something, so I think we better open this up before powering it up. And this is actually one of the cleanest, you know, there's a bit of dust on it, one of the cleanest things I've ever bought. Just some very light dust on it, not much in the way of scratches or anything. So I thought, what the hell, it's quite a nice unit. Hopefully it's something repairable, if we get all the screws out of it eventually. But it's a rather large one too, probably made to sit underneath some sort of stereo system, or it might have been part of a component system, but yeah, rather large, as most 5-discs are. Oh, so it still possibly had someone's CD collection in there. Last Stand Cold Chisel, so probably not the cheapest CD to buy new. Original soundtrack, The Commitments, Mustang Sally, etc. Bon Jovi. Yeah, classic. Haven't heard that for a while. And the Eagles Live. Sounds like someone my age or older boomer CD collection. Oh well, now we've got them out of the way and we know it's not going to jam anything up. Well, we've got a display, possibly a bit dim, but that just read the disc, I think. And yeah, it seems to be reading. The display is not the brightest thing I've ever seen. Got a bit of muck on there that someone's wiped it with something. Some red segments and some yellow, and yeah, that's rather dim, so I don't know if that's just worn out or there's an issue there. Let's see if it opens or not. Wow, it doesn't even have a loading belt that's had its day. A couple other belts in there by the look of it. What do we got? Well, that one's for loading the mechanism up. That big gear lifts your laser up. One here, is that the loading? That's not the, that must do something. Don't think that's a disc spinning motor. Oh yes, it is maybe. No, where does that gear engage? We've got a disc spinning. No, we can't turn it, it's not loose. What the hell turns? Oh, it must be something you've got to unbreak it or something. Oh, probably that lever there. Yeah, now I can turn the disc. And then it locks wherever it is by the look of it. And that's our loading, whoops. So part of that. Well, I'm not sure what it actually runs at. It's wobbling around quite a bit there, so may not play the best. Or maybe that's just that disc. Might just be the eccentric sort of print on the disc, so now I can see it going up and down a bit. I'm not sure what these Yamahas were like as far as lasers and stuff in them. You didn't see a lot of them around, so I think they generally kept going. I get a feeling I have changed lasers in them though. Oh. So it's got play exchange, so that probably means you can leave a disc running. I wonder if you can leave a disc running while you change others out. So there's some sort of lift up optical piece here, which probably is your disc position. It's probably got slots like a Sony that counts slots or some other optical thing on the disc, so I can't see any. Oh, they're actually, yeah, they're in under this central bit with the gear. So under here, there's a disc with, I can see at least one part with one thing on it. So I think it's little bits of plastic sticking out under here. Oh, there's our load belt. Yeah, that's the tray belt. It's hidden under a little plastic cover there. In front of this optical thing. Okay, so this motor here runs the tray via a little gear and a little locking mechanism. So it's not the front part of the teeth I can see that get run, but rather there. Nice slim deck design, that's for sure. I guess we should try some audio. Let's see what she does.
A fellow named Steve Young, who lived in San Diego. This is called Seven Bridges.
Try this too. Does wobble around a bit, but seems to read alright. It actually has output level adjustment. Even though they're next to the headphones, they do seem to adjust the line out, which is an interesting one. This little lever here releases that gear and the main platter, so you can flip it back the other way. Already can see dusty bits I haven't got to. Press that metal bit in, this thing's then free and I can go right around the slot, even though you probably can't see it, but run right around and all the gaps under the tray without removing it. Probably wants a bit of a blast out with a bit of air, but that's certainly looking a lot better than it was. But yeah, this is looking a lot like someone's put this away somewhere, complete with the CDs in it, and completely forgotten them they were in there. Maybe someone's just had a clean out then and took it to the tip shop, or the e-waste even. So always worried when you spend a little bit of money on these whether they're going to have a dud laser or something that makes them not economical. But this one is just another one that actually really has nothing wrong with it. I just need to fit a plug to the power cord. That's a bit dusty in there. Gently get the dust off that laser assembly. A little bit on there. I'll give the laser a quick clean. Maybe give it a little bit of lube on the slide bar, and that's about all it needs. It's a little bit of some sort of black dots on there, and it's coming off. That's why I always like to give these a clean, because they do get stuff stuck to them over the years. And same with this bit. Could be why that disc wobbling a bit. All it takes is one little bit of muck stuck to these things, and the less wobble you got, the better. But it's really just this little raised part that clamps the disc. looks like it's got a bit of oil or grease on there. Might just put a little bit of oil on there. Just wet a cotton bud a bit so that when you touch it on there, it just puts a slight coating. Don't want to collect too much dust. That's yeah, I was going to say it looks like a sort of Sanyo laser in this. I had a feeling they may not use the best quality lasers in some of these things. It's a Sanyo SF. Yeah, this has got a Sanyo SFP101N in it. They weren't always the greatest, these Sanyo lasers, but can't say I remember that number, so that's probably one of their better ones. Hopefully they will get a bit more decent, since this is not the earliest player out there, and you'd hope if Yamaha used it, it would have been a decent laser, but you just don't know with manufacturers half the time. They don't always know how well something's going to last, for that matter. But that seems to play fine. Most of those discs have a few scratches and stuff on them, so they're not mint, and they seem to be tracking alright. Give it a bit of a decent test run. I guess the only other thing is, can we do anything about the brightness of this display? Probably this black connector here would be where the bits and pieces come in. Usually got about, I think it's 4.4 volts across the filaments, and then was it minus 30 odd volts from the drive chip, depending what it's doing, but yeah, some level based on that. And I don't think they tell us anything there about the connections. Well, now we've got the tray front off. We should be able to get this front panel off. Looks like a screw on each side and a clip, and 3 underneath. I don't think it would have any sort of dimmer on the display or anything weird like that. Main problem with these type of connectors is you've just got a bunch of loose wires and they all get bent up usually. Very hard to, you really need to put them in some sort of holder or something while you're playing around with the thing. That one does not want to come up. It's like it's been glued or something. It's going to rip out the board, I think, before it comes up. Looks like yellow glue all over it. Wish I wouldn't do that. Just got to jam the screwdriver in there, I think, to get this apart. It is well and truly like stuck with something. Ah, they're the crappiest connectors made by man, those things. Just noticed there's also an earth tab on this, whatever remote receiver or whatever it is. That's better. No, this other connector does actually go to the front panel. Wasn't sure where that one went. And we've got the power switch at the other end. Does unplug. Pressing the tab and it should come out, but of course it doesn't. What a job to get it apart. That's got the front off. So that's the display part, so it's actually up that connector. Not the one I thought, that's just the buttons. Doesn't look like we've got much here. Drive IC, that might be the infrared. They put the infrared detector there. I think they have the other thing was the headphone sockets. But at least we can, well actually we can't now, can't easily measure anything. Filaments of the end terminals. Well, I looked online and there is a service and instruction book for this, and it turns out it does have a dimmer mode, either full brightness, half brightness, or extra dim I guess. Something like that. You need the remote to do it. So chances are that's all that's wrong with this. It's set to one of the other modes and it's stored in memory, so there's probably no way to get it out. If you hold stop and play together on this and turn it on, suppose it goes into a test mode, so we might even try that. And see if it comes up at brighter in the test mode. It may bypass any dimming. It may not, but who knows. And in the test mode you can get all the various segments of the display or sections of the display to light up. So sometimes it pays to see if there is some user adjustment there before you pull it to bits. But not able to put that back together. Just remind me what it looked like. Rather dim. Let's hold play and stop down. Turn it on. Release. We're in test mode. I'm not sure it's any brighter though. Do all sorts of stuff to get various motors going and stuff. Well, the red part of the display's pretty good, but it's just the orange seems a bit dimmer than it should be. And the only remote I could find was for a slightly different model. Didn't have all the features of this one, although mainly just missing that output level control. And they wanted $50 for it, which is ridiculous for a remote, really. So I guess I could keep an eye out for a second-hand one. That. But yeah, I think we'll just put this thing back together and it'll have to be used as is, I think. So if you hit this play exchange button, it'll leave the disc playing. You can get the other 4 discs, change them around. And put it back in and then continue playing, so you've got 4 out of 5 discs changed. Of course, once you go onto that disc, it doesn't matter because you've got to play that one anyway. But better than the ones where you have to stop everything to eject the tray and change some discs. And I used to do a bit like that. I used to have a lot of, before it was easy to record off disc onto other discs, either CD recorders or CD-ROMs. I used to basically do the same thing. You'd put a bunch of different discs in there and play a few tracks off each and then swap them over, and then you go and buy your track listing. Usually I'd have a little mark next to each one that I wanted to listen to, since most of these CDs are full of tracks you don't particularly like, and used to go through them. So that was the old school way of doing it, and you could sort of set up your own playlist in that sort of way. So these machines that you could actually open while it was running are really convenient, because you didn't have to stop the music. But other than that, I think this thing's basically all working fine. The belts seem to be in good condition. The display just seems a little dim. It's not that bad, but it does just seem a little dimmer than you'd expect. Maybe they always were a bit that way, but it's quite possible someone set it to a different mode other than full brightness, and that's now stuck in the memory. So I'll keep an eye out for a remote for it. But yeah, quite a nice 5-disc player, this one. And yeah, like most of them, it has a very large footprint. It's quite a bit bigger than your standard hi-fi component, other than a record player or turntable. I mean, this is a modern day turntable basically, or carousel style CD player. But yeah, it all seems to be working fine, so the main thing is to remember to always take all the discs out. I mean, you can technically leave one clamped in there, but never move these things around, never tilt them if you're moving around if they've still got discs in them, because they will slide out. There's nothing holding them. Maybe if you're lucky one is held in play mode like that, but it may, once it's just showing no disc. It doesn't actually unclamp some of them. I think unclamp the disc again if there's nothing in there, and that's their rest position. But yeah, quite a clean unit besides a small amount of dust in there. Not much in the way of scratches on it. Probably hasn't been used a lot by the look of it, so I guess for the price of one of those CDs that was in it, what they used to cost new, it wasn't too bad to get the whole CD player. Better just cable tie that back in place, just for safety reasons, and to make the cover easier to put back on. Probably just want to get a little bit of tension on them so that they can't loop out. Okay, I'll put a new plug on this thing. You can get these from Wagner and other places with a figure 8 type fitting, only made for 2-core cable. And then it's just a matter of getting enough length to go around the little cable protector. Normally do about 10 mil or so of bare wire and then just fold it. And oh yeah, they've even done up the earth. A lot of these they had a loose, all the fittings were loose, and if you didn't tighten up the earth one, which of course you can't use in these, it would rattle. You know, I've got a smaller Phillips head on these. Don't think I've used this brand before. And then you just insert it, making sure that the plastic just butts up to the thing, but doesn't go under the terminal. But you want to get all the bare wire under there if possible. A little bit sticking out doesn't matter so much on these things, because they're all covered up. It's not like the back of a PowerPoint or something someone might work on one day, or remove to paint around or something. Put them in their clamps. What brand are these? ProLink Power Solutions. Well, as long as they're done to Australian standards, that's the main thing. Hopefully they are. Now, how hard are these going to be to get on? They need to be fairly tight so they don't come off again. At least it's a warm day today, because in the winter they can get rather hard to fit. And these may be a bit different to like the Clipsal or whoever made them. I think HBM and Clipsal make them, but once you get a bit over it should come on, or not. No, this one really grips on that thing. Try not to mark them. Check it still comes on, which it does. Like I say, not the brightest display I've ever seen. It's all there though. But it doesn't surprise me that it's got a dimmer mode, because that's usually what you find when there's a fault with those sort of things. They've either just worn out from too much use, or there's some sort of mode where you can dim them. Very rare the actual voltages fail driving them or anything. Does happen, but very rare. Issue a very reliable part of the circuit. Oh well, that'll do for that one. What have we got again? Eagles Live, Bon Jovi, Cold Chisel, which I think is live as well. Last Stand, and the Commitments. So nothing I really want there, but might donate them to the tip shop. I did used to listen to this Bon Jovi once, but I think I got bored of it. I don't think it was that great an album. The earlier one was a lot better than that from memory. 85 it came out. This wasn't the big set of hits that they had on their first album, but that'll at least make a good test disc if nothing else. And yeah, hopefully I can find someone who likes to listen to those ones, because I don't want to keep them. But anyway, that one's I think going. I'll give it a little bit more of a clean up, and I'll keep an eye out for a remote for it. So thanks for watching.